G'day everyone, I'm AzureBlaze, and welcome to another A Look At video. It's been a little bit since I've done one of these. I've been wanting to get back into them, however, as many know from watching the channel in general, I've been moving. Well, I have moved. I moved basically a month ago. It's been a little bit to get the setup, set up, and it's not completely done yet either. The lights will eventually change. I plan on getting a nice big ring light that goes over the top and it makes everything look nice and bright, and yeah, basically it's not all set up yet. I haven't even got a spot for where my microphone can sit. At the moment I'm either using the camera microphone, that one there, or a lapel mic that I am wearing because I don't have anywhere to put my main mic at the moment. I will fix all that later though. I wanted to make one of these videos though. It's been too long since I made one of these videos, and I've been wanting to make this one in particular for a fair while now. However, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna get straight into it. Yeah, basically, I wanted to talk about this because this feels like it doesn't. It's not like necessarily anything special. However, it like feels like an oddity to me, and I can talk about something else a little bit later. However, yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about today. Sonic Mania Plus's physical edition, specifically the Nintendo Switch one, because I think that's more fascinating, to be honest. The main reason why, as you keep seeing, because things keep falling out, it's in a cardboard sleeve. All the Mania Plus versions are, and it comes with the game and everything on the inside. Basically, if anyone didn't know, Sonic Mania first came out digitally on everything, and then when it got its Plus update, it got a physical version to go with it, including a bunch of goodies, which I can go through here. However, the main thing I want to talk about first is this cardboard cover, which is nice and all. However, the problem with cardboard covers in general with video games is like you have to be careful with them because they can like tear and rip and like they can fray. I don't know how well I can be seen on camera, so I'm going to focus up there. However, like they're sort of all it gets damaged easily, and that kind of worries me. I kind of wish it was like, I don't even know what they could have done, how to keep this sort of thing. Maybe like one big steelbook or something like that. I'm not sure, because like on all the other versions, this is the same size as like, let's pull something out of my Xbox One collection, shall we? Which is up to my left. Here we go. It's like the same. It's the right size for like an Xbox One case to like fit in nicely type thing, and the same with the PS4 case. However, there's no like it's not like very handy for Switch games in particular, specifically because you know they don't fit. And the other thing with this cardboard sleeve is because there's no bottom or top, I suppose, or anything, everything keeps sliding out, as could be seen before. Yeah, everything keeps sliding out, and I don't know why they did that. However, regardless, it's very shiny, as can be seen. It's very, very shiny. There is, that later changes with another version. However, yeah, this version is in fact very, very shiny. Yeah, let's talk about what's in it though, because there's obviously the game in its case. It has a reversible cover. Don't mind the receipt there, which happened to be upside down, which was nice. Yeah, here's this is the normal cover and everything. However, it has a nice reversible one, and I really like that. The best thing about the cardboard cover, like if I was putting this on the shelf by itself without the cardboard cover, I would simply have this cover because it's the one with the Switch logo and everything. It goes over everything. However, because it's in the reversible cover, I can put it in on this one, which looks very nice, and it is different to the to the big cover, which I don't know. I think this looks neat. I like how it like references like Mega Drive and all that sort of thing. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I would imagine the American version has Genesis on it, which would make a whole bunch of sense, and it has the same sort of like everything it talks about on the back. However, like this has got like those old 90s graphics, I guess. Yeah, I really like this. Inside, look at this amazing Sonic 1 movie thing. Yeah, it comes with like a little warranty booklet and all that sort of thing. Nothing too special. However, the big thing for it is the art book. And the art book both frustrates me and I like it at the same time. I always like art books because it's nice having little extra goodies and stuff like that. However, they could have made it, like, considering the art that's in it, I feel like they could have made it small enough to fit in the case. At the very least, in one of the Xbox One or PS4 cases, I feel like they could have made the art book that size to fit in that. And, I don't know, I guess have this sleeve thing with the Switch. The other problem with, like, this is, like, it's way bigger than, like, a Switch game. Which means putting it into my collection, I can't have everything pressed up the wall, against the wall because of it. Which is kind of frustrating, not gonna lie. Yeah, however, the art book. Otherwise, though, I wish they could have made it fit a little bit better. However, they didn't. And looking inside it, though, there is a lot of nice stuff. Like I like all like these little Sonic designs and everything like that. Knuckles, that Tails design is absolutely adorable. And then they talk about like, in 2016, a team of developers pitched an idea for a new 2D Sonic game to Sega. 2016, I can't believe that's 10 years ago. That makes me feel old. Yeah, basically it goes into the ins and outs of how this game was made and all that sort of thing. Under the guidance of Sonic Team, it grew into a small project, and then they sort of made it. It's great, and now there's like the art book and everything that came out for Plus. It goes over the characters. It's kind of like a mixture of like an instruction manual, I guess, in that sense. It talks about their style from the early 90s. It's drawn by the Sonic Mania art director Tom Fry, with guidance by Sonic Team's creative director Kazuyuki Hoshino. It looks nice. I'm glad they sort of talk about how that goes. Then they talk about the hard-boiled heavies, which are obviously the main villains of the game, not including Eggman. And like, these are really nice designs. Seeing him in this 2D form works really well as well, I think. Then they talk about Mighty and Ray, because obviously they were back for the Plus version, which, amazing, I'm glad. Looks really nice. And then they show off like I guess a screenshot of Studiopolis for some reason. And then here we go. Here's some of the sprite works and everything like that. The title sequence frames specifically. I like that it tells you down the bottom what they are. Him popping out and then spinning and doing everything like that. Where's the freeze frame that everyone always gets when they're making videos using the title of him, like his nose flung around to like a different side? There it is. That one there. That's the one that everyone uses always. And then they go into some of the drawing stuff. And like, this is really neat. I like how this is all laid out with like the Sonic on this side, Eggman on this side. I'm assuming, yep, I'll get to that in a second. However, it's the key character artwork concepts. Looks very good. I like it. Interesting that they don't have the rough sketches for the Sonic group. Like, these are much more finalized sketches, where there's much more rough ones here for Eggman. They look really good though. And then you got the hard-boiled heavies here. They've even colored them in a little bit. And then some of the various bosses and enemies and stuff like that. I think this is all fantastic stuff. I'm glad, like, a lot of art books simply chuck random art in there. However, this one goes about like telling you what's what, where's where, how, why, which, what. And then they go into some of like the concepts for the levels and the environments, and these are amazing. Like, some of these, like that one particular of like the Green Hill inside from the cave, I think looks really, really good. You got the one for Press Garden, Act 2, Studiopolis, more Studiopolis. I can't remember what it's called, Egg Something Zone or whatever. And then what's it called? The special stage. Yeah, I think that's really neat. Here's some more. This one is that end one that I can't remember the name of again for some reason. Press Garden, I like that Sonic in an ice cube. That's funny. You got Tails flying around one of the stages there. Not 100% sure. More Press Garden. I really like Press Garden. I like seeing sketches of Press Garden, especially because it has a lot of mechanics, like mechanical elements to it and stuff like that. And I hope this is focusing alright, because like, I'm having a hard time telling on the screen that I've got it next to me. Yeah, you got more of these stuff, and then the Mirage Saloon Zone, which I like how it's like a 2D, 3D. Like, I guess this is how the stage would be seen in 3D, wouldn't it? It would make sense. And then they go over some of the logo concepts, and these are very interesting. I like looking at different logo concepts and stuff, because obviously like the last one is that one, which I think is like this one, basically. However, there's some different colors and stuff, which I really like as well. I think the green would have been a little bit too much. I'm sort of glad they went with the red, to be honest. I think that would have been a little bit too much. These logos simply look unfinished, which makes sense because they're all concepts and stuff. But yeah, I do like being able to see different logos. You got storyboard ideas for some of the cutscenes. This is adorable, not gonna lie. I think it's great. You got the hard-boiled heavies when Eggman falls down. Him going with metal there. You've got the Knuckles being hit out of the plane, out of the tornado and all that sort of thing. It's great. And then you've got the box art, or at least a variant, promotional art piece, that's what they are. Multiple promotional art pieces. Yep. And then they talk about the animation, which was created by Tyson Hess, which I always like his animated works. And I think, personally, even now, I feel that out of all this official Sonic stuff that they've done, especially with Tyson Hess, like for the 2D, the more modern 2D stuff that started with this game, I think is probably the best way to put it. For all that sort of stuff, I think this is the best one. I don't think it has ever been, or even come close to that since, to be honest. I think Origins 1 looks a bit funny, and then Superstars 1 looks even more funny. I think they personally, I feel like they keep progressively getting worse. Not that they're bad, however, I think they don't match this one. I think something about how smooth this intro is and everything like that, it looks really good. The animation was intended to use for the launch trailer and was not originally planned to be in the game. When Sonic Team and all the teams on the project saw how great the early work was, the in-game engine was specifically adapted to feature it as an opening movie. That's very interesting. I like these little factoids. Like, it's not only an art book, it's like a little, I guess, development book, in a way. Alrighty, sorry about the cut there. My camera cut out. I'm yet to figure out that problem. Yeah, it talks about all the different things that were released for it and all that sort of stuff. I think that's great. Here we got the turnarounds, which are drawn as a reference. That way animators can understand the character's design from multiple angles, which is really nice. It's built to express the fluidity and in motion emphasize the slate design. Yeah, I think this is like a perfect thing to do. Like, obviously 2D different to 3D. I've done more 3D animation. However, like, the same sort of thing applies, I guess. You gotta make sure it looks great from all angles and everything like that. And I like that they even did a flicky. Very happy that they did that. I guess, like, a lot of this sort of work, like, the basic idea would have been done for a lot of this stuff before from the previous games that have these sort of designs. Have, like, these are more modernized and, like, sharper designs, I guess is probably the best way to put it. Yeah. Anyway, moving on, we got some original concept pictures from Tyson for the opening movie. They look pretty similar, and then the final animation stuff looks good as well. And then some credits and special thanks, which looks, yeah, it's very nice. And then the little heads and everything like that, and you go back to this, which has some more of that, like, concept and everything like that. Yeah, really, really nice. I'm glad they did release a physical for this nonetheless, despite the gripes I have with the case and everything like that. However, then, a few years later, they did it again with Sonic Origins. Yeah, Sonic Origins Plus, specifically. Basically, they did the same thing as with Mania. They released the game digitally and then later released a Plus version. I feel like they wanted to do this to specifically copy Mania, other than for an actual reason to do it, because I feel like this could have all been in the base game. However, you know, we got a physical version of it. I feel like I can't complain too much. And same sort of thing, cardboard box, all the same problems as before. Gonna simply make sure I don't have any receipts in this case, specifically, before I show off. There we go. Yeah, I don't know, it would have been nice to upgrade the box. However, it's the same thing, same size, same everything, same falling out. Case though, very nice. Very, very happy with this case as well. Same sort of thing as well. There's the, like, the base one in here, which looks good, and if I had that on the shelf by itself, it would be like that. However, I don't. I have it like this, and I'm keeping it like this forever, because this looks absolutely fantastic. Now, I recently ordered in the original Sonic 1 for Mega Drive to play on the Mega Drive I have here, and I didn't realize how much this case sort of follows that design of, like, the old white and everything like that. Yeah, that's really good. I do like that each of the characters are holding their respective, not necessarily debuts in Tails' case, I guess, however, more like maybe it was debut. I don't know. Like their respective things, I guess. Sonic has the Genesis and everything like that. Tails has the Game Gear because he had his own games on it, and maybe Sonic 2 Game Gear came out before Sonic 2. I can't exactly remember. Of course, Amy has the CD, and Knuckles has Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 3 and Knuckles specifically locked on. I think this game, like, I'm not going to go fully into my issues or likes or happiness or whatever with this game. I think it could have had way more, specifically like more of the lost media type things like Knuckles Chaotix or Sega Sonic and all that sort of thing. Like, the Game Gear games are neat. However, we've had them that many times. I feel like Sega's trying to gaslight us into like into liking them. Like, I don't mind them, the Game Gear games. I actually do quite like some of the Game Gear games. However, there are some really bad ones as well. However, we've had them released that many times, and Knuckles Chaotix has never been re-released. Sega Sonic's never been re-released. I think having some more things like that, maybe having like the Sonic Jam like hub world as well included, would have been really, really nice. And then Knuckles could have been holding like a Sega 32X or something. And yeah, it's upsetting, to be honest. However, I don't own Sega. I don't work for Sega. I can't do anything about it, I'm afraid. Yeah, otherwise, it's nice. Perfect. However, it as well came with an art book. And this is a little bit more interesting because, like, obviously these games are quite old. Therefore, it's like, do they show the original art or do they show the stuff specifically for this game? And it's like, there's a bit of a mixture, I think, is probably the best way to put it. I think they do show some of like the original stuff and then some of the newer stuff as well. They start the sort of same way. They have like background stuff around on there, and then they go into Sonic 1 specifically. Then they go through like some of the old concept sketches back when he was Field the Rabbit and all that sort of thing. Yeah, and I don't know, I think that's really neat. I like how like the original concept sketch, or at least a concept sketch for the title, sort of works straight up. Obviously these are newer ones for the opening animation and everything like that, and then they go through 1991 Sonic, 1993, and 2022. Interesting that they didn't put the American version of Sonic 1's box art look in here as well. I think that would have been neat to have. They did the same thing with Tails, obviously, 1992, 1994, and then 2022. Like, Sonic, I feel like, hasn't changed that much. Tails a little bit more, I guess. Like, his snout is obviously a little bit shorter and all that sort of thing. His color's more, I guess, in line. There's less, like, tufty tail parts, I guess, and things like that. Yeah, otherwise, though, looks nice. It's obviously, it's really neat. I do like that they have, like, the 3D one in there as well. You got Knuckles. You get some old concept sketches. I really like looking at these little concept sketches. Some of the older looks and everything like that. Because he used to be a little bit less round on the head, I feel like. In 1994, 1997, and 2022. Looks really neat. Do like it a lot. And then you got Amy. And I feel like Amy's hasn't changed that much, I guess, over the years. Yeah, it looks nice. I like the old concept here as well. Then you've got the Eggman, who was meant to originally look like, I think it's like Teddy Roosevelt or something like that. He's like the pajama man that they originally envisioned and stuff like that. And you got the old ones. I'm assuming that's for CD because I'm pretty sure that's at least similar to a boss out of CD. Then you got Metal, and Metal's great, I guess. Oh, they do have the US game cover. Okay, we'll get back to that. Yeah, you got Metal. You got some old designs and everything like that. Interesting, they didn't have anything from the OVA there, I guess. Yeah, you got the US game covers, which is really nice to see. Did they actually have... I don't think they actually had any of the... Did they have the European ones? Did they come late? Ah, okay. We'll get to that. Yeah, the US ones, which... I mean, like, I feel like I've seen these more despite the fact that I live in Australia, which uses the European stuff. I've never liked that design for Sonic, though. The US one, that almost mohawky look to it. I've never really liked that. I'm glad that we've all sort of gone back to, or gone to the newer, or it's like, I guess the original design, rather than whatever this is. It's a bit strange. And then the fact that every single box here is different kind of messes me up too. Not gonna lie, it's a bit frustrating, however, yeah. Then you got the European ones, which look much nicer for the most part. I mean, Sonic 2's is the same. Sonic 3's is... I don't know what happened there. Sonic and Knuckles is basically exactly the same. However, that Sonic 1 box, that's amazing. The Sonic CD one, I think I prefer the European one anyway. I think it's much more, I guess their rivalry is like head-on, where that one's more like the UFOs, which is only the special stages. And obviously Sonic and Knuckles is the same. All the Japanese ones, perfect. I really like them all. I think they're all amazing. I have no complaints about them. I think even Sonic and Knuckles with a white background I think looks really nice, to be honest. Yeah, absolutely amazing. And I'm glad they keep trying to like replicate that a little bit. Then you got the Game Gear covers with all their fun things and such. Sonic Drift, Sonic Drift 2, Sonic and Tails, which I'm assuming is something. Is that what's Labyrinth? I'm looking around to see what there is here. Is there more? G-Sonic? I'm assuming one of these is like Triple Trouble and one of these is like something else. Then you got Sonic 2. Yeah, I don't know. Sonic and Tails 2? I honestly don't know. Sonic Spinball. for the Game Gear. There's Sonic 1. Yeah, Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. I'm assuming one of these is like Triple Trouble and the other is like, I can't remember what the other one's called right now. However, yeah. Interesting. I'm guessing that's Sonic Blast. Would be my best guess. Then you got the original reversible cover sheets for this, I believe. The Mega Drive one. I much prefer the Mega Drive one to the Genesis one, not gonna lie. I like the lighter colors. And the Japanese one's neat as well. I think I prefer the European one, to be honest. I think that really is really nice. Same with this as well. I think the old, like, black checkers looks a little bit nicer. Or this black checkers as opposed to that black checkers. Yeah, neat. And then you got some classic artwork. I mean, I'm assuming it's artwork that's made in the classic style, not actually old artwork. Yeah, it looks nice. I like that they've sort of included stuff like this. And then you get some concept sketches, which look really neat as well. I'm glad they sort of included that as well. So I think it would be nice to have some more older things. However, I don't know. I think this does a good job at like giving an idea of regional differences as opposed to, and like time differences, I guess, for the characters, as opposed to actually showing a whole bunch of like older things. Yeah, I simply thought this was a bit interesting to go through, to be honest. Like, they're two, I guess, oddities comparatively to what I guess would be normally released for things like this. Yeah, I have a feeling that Sega would have probably done the same thing with Superstars if it wasn't for the fact that Superstars didn't perform as well as they kind of hoped, which is a little bit upsetting because I actually really enjoyed Superstars. I mean, I played through it on the channel and stuff like that. However, I feel like they would have done the exact same thing with Superstars, done like a Superstars Plus, if it was much more successful. To be honest, they've probably dropped that now, which is, I don't know, kind of upsetting for me. I really did like Superstars. However, yeah, these are two little oddities. I kind of hope they stop doing this though. To be honest, this sort of digital first plus physical second type thing. Like, I get it. However, I would prefer to simply have a physical day one. These are good if you want. No, they're definitely not going to do that, I guess. Apologies about the color again. I'm finishing up anyway. However, yeah, I'm the type of person who would double dip, I guess, anyway, for these sort of things. And I guess that's what they're sort of preying on. However, I like having these physical editions of games that I want to play. The funniest thing is, like, by the time I actually got these, I had already played, well, I haven't really actually played Origins itself that much. I mean, I've played all the games in there countless times, finished them all, I say countless, a fair few times each, and finished them all, and 100%ed most of them at least a couple of times. See, this is the problem with the cardboard, it's like, it gets damaged. It gets damaged. Yeah. However, like, and then Mania, like, I finished many times on, like, Steam and stuff like that, therefore, I haven't had as big of a, I guess, want to go back and play it on the Switch. I guess next time I really want to play some of these games, I will probably play them on Switch, and this is probably the best way to record, like, classic Sonic games for the channel and stuff, if I ever need to, for whatever reason as well. However, yeah, I don't know, I simply feel like there's a little bit of some odysseys, I guess is the best way to put it. Oddities, not odysseys. Why am I saying odysseys? Not Mario Odyssey. Some oddities in how games tend to go. I think it's fun and frustrating at the same time. Yeah. However, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I shall be back in the next one. Cheers, everyone.